Well, hello there and welcome to Cityline. We are zooming from my kitchen into your home or your office, and it's great to be with you. We have a lot to talk about in this next hour. We will be chatting with Alling Park Pollinator Garden. This is a garden that is full of pollinator bees, and there's been some special pictures taken that we are going to talk about with the help of Metro Parks. Tacoma Musical Playhouse, John Douglas Rake will be here to talk about opening back up and this fabulous concert that they are putting on that you don't want to miss. TPU night at the Rainiers. How much do we love our Rainiers? Well, it gets even better when TPU night shows up. So you definitely want to stick around for the details on that. And then Tacoma Pierce County Humane Society will be here with our Pet of the Week. And then with me right now are two exceptional women. They are here to talk about the East 64th Street project, known as the East Tacoma Textiles. Please join me in welcoming Rebecca Soliverson. She is the Public Arts Specialist for the City of Tacoma. Welcome back, Rebecca.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's great to have you and to see you again. And you brought with you this wonderful woman who everything about her screams beauty and artist. We're talking Kristen Ramirez. Kristen, welcome, my dear. It's good to see you.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, Rebecca, for people who perhaps have not heard about the East 64th Street project, tell us about it. What is it?
Well, the overall project it's a streetscape project. So that means that the city went in and redid the road and the sidewalks and everything in between. This project is on East 64th from Pacific to McKinley. And the road was just in really bad condition before they started work. So a lot of the work, it's beautiful, but a lot of the work also happened underground. There are a lot of utilities. So especially for the houses around that area, it's a really big upgrade. The project is also really environmentally conscious. They've applied for Green Roads certification, for bronze certification, which is a really big deal. They expect to receive it. So we're not only doing these upgrades so that they're beautiful, they feel good for people, but also so they're good for the environment. It also has the first separated bike facility in Tacoma. For bike riders, that's a huge deal. It makes for a much safer ride and a more pleasant ride. It means that the bike lane is actually separated from the road, which is like gold standard. And again, it's just a beautiful project. It's through a neighborhood, so it's not like one of these big splashy projects like we might have done in the Lincoln District, but it's more subtle. It's where people live, and it just makes for a really nice walk or bike ride or drive through the neighborhood, and well deserved because we really haven't been investing as much as we should be in this neighborhood. So.
What a beautiful narration! And out of all of that, there was so much to catch. The bike lane. Okay, can we just talk about how nervous I get when I drive and there's a bike lane and I'm like, okay, why are you not in your bike lane and am I in your bike lane? And if I had some beautiful art to look at, I might feel better about that and a little calmer. And that's where Kristen comes in. Kristen, tell us about the artwork known as East Tacoma Textiles.
Sure. Thanks for having me today. So like Rebecca said, this project is exciting because it's new to this neighborhood. We're very aware of the makeup of this very residential neighborhood. I mean, that's the first kind of feeling you get when you're there. And that many of the families have lived there for generations. There's, houses that get passed down from generations. And woven in with all of that are a lot of recent immigrants. So you have a lot of languages being spoken, a lot of children and elders. So it's just a really mixed kind of quiet, mostly neighborhood. Like Rebecca said, we're also really aware that this was the first Percent for Art project in East Tacoma. And that given the kind of the quiet nature of that quarter, it wasn't a place for something really flashy. And so we wanted to do something that was quiet, that was elegant, that was integrated, and that just celebrated this like really cool infrastructure change they're seeing, but in a quiet way.
I love that. So what are some of the ways that once you got into that neighborhood and you kind of got the lay of the land, the vibe, the energy, you got the history of the people, how did that affect or impact the final art project, Kristen?
Yeah. So the person not here with me today is Elishaba Johnson, who is my art bae. She's my art partner, and we collaborate on a lot of projects. And Elishaba and I both share the value that public art is for the public, right? It's for the people who live there and work there and play there. And so we always center and make important community engagement. That's how we start every project. And I dare say it's the most exciting part of the project for us in some ways. And so this project was no exception to that. We always prioritize engaging the public. And so we did that in many, many ways. We toured the neighborhood with a neighborhood stakeholder. We attended a couple of meetings of community service providers. We visited the cultural center of the Puyallup tribe. And then we created a couple of like hands-on engagement events for people. And so the first was I don't know, people call them like paint and sip events kind of thing. So we knew we wanted to integrate this idea of sort of textiles and patterns into the buffer strip that divides the bike lane from the road. And so we were playing with all these different patterns. We printed all those patterns on canvas and went to Good Hope Church for an evening and invited people to come eat. We had all these empanadas and things to drink, to eat and paint and meet their neighbors and talk about the project. And we invited people there via door hangers that we designed. And so we had them distributed all through the neighborhoods. The door hanger did two things. It kind of introduced people to like, hey, you're getting some new public art on this street. And if you want, you're invited to this event. So we thought of it kind of in a two-part strategy. It's a kind of piece of ephemeral art that people got, but it also was an invitation. And so that was a really cool event. And then a few months after that, we worked a little bit with someone from the city of Tacoma, Safe Routes to Schools program. And so she was really interested in, just like the name says, getting kids safely to school, particularly on bikes and walking. So really encouraging pedestrian activity, just like this project does, and bikes. And so we partnered with Fawcett Elementary and did a scavenger hunt that encouraged kids to, it was like walk to school day. It was also pajama day. So before their school day began, they were given the scavenger hunt, the week prior, and they were encouraged to come with their completed scavenger hunt, things they would see along their path, and then come to school. And we had massive amounts of hot cocoa, and then we hired a band to play. So we had live music and hot cocoa, Big World Beats played, and it was just a really cool morning, a really cool way to introduce the elementary school community to this project that was coming, and their parents, right? So those are the few things we did. We did a lot of engagement on the front end.
I'm counting food, I'm counting music, I'm counting several visits, I'm counting intensive listening. I can see you and your best friend sketching as people are talking. My God, that's the full meal deal. So tell us about the beautiful colored tiles in the sidewalk. What were the ideas that you guys shared behind them, and how did you come up with that design?
Yeah, so like I said, we knew that given the nature of this project, we didn't want to it wasn't a huge budget, and it's a long corridor, and we didn't want to do anything flashy. It was already seeing a lot of change. So we wanted to do something kind of quiet, integrated, but that celebrates, like I said, just diversity, in age range, in languages spoken, and cultural backgrounds of the neighborhood. So Elishaba created Elishaba is a collage artist, among many things, and so created these beautiful kind of compositions that we photographed that spoke to kind of the union of like the natural world, because there were natural elements in there, like cedar and things like that, with fabrics that traditionally come from the places that people are immigrating from. And so that's kind of what they're a little bit abstract, but what these textile images represent. And then we had them printed on graphic tiles and embedded in the sidewalk, because we're like, that would be a cool way to bring art. But a lot of pieces, I think there's like 24 of them total.
And that's not all that's in the sidewalk. There's poems also. There's words in this as well. So I always want more time with both of you. So in this last 3 minutes, give me an idea about what's in that poetry. And then Rebecca, what's next for this project? So
Sure.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Yeah. So in addition to the tiles, we also created a custom stamp and stamped all of the concrete So that goes down the length of the corridor. And then we used old surplus granite that used to be the sidewalks of downtown Tacoma. They were at the dump. It was really cool. And so we scavenged sort of this beautiful old granite, worked with a fabricator to sandblast poetry into them. And there's 5 of them, and you'll find them scattered throughout the plantings down the corridor. And they just speak to all the things I've kind of mentioned, the union of natural and historical and man-made, and the diversity of the neighborhood. And one of the poems we vetted through the Puyallup tribe when we went to visit them. So yeah, they just speak to notions of home and place and nature and history.
I can't even comprehend what this must have looked like before, during, and now after. What a huge transformation. So Rebecca, what's next for this project?
So there are actually 2 more phases of the project. So it's going to continue all the way out to the east border of the city. So the next phase we're kind of gearing up for, and that is going to start back up at McKinley, and that'll go to Portland Avenue. So, and then the 3rd phase will continue all the way to the eastern boundary of the city. So we're really excited to see this continue. We're excited to continue the artwork down the stretch of the streetscape as well. And I would just encourage everybody to visit, and on foot or in person is best, but you can also go to cityoftacoma.org/arts or on Facebook, Tacoma Arts Commission, and learn more.
I love that. Huge thank you to you both, your teams, to Elishaba, all, because everybody who touched this art project, we want to say thank you to. We couldn't get them all on the Zoom, but they are certainly in our hearts, and we are full of gratitude for all the beautification and the reflection that this project has. You didn't bring an artist in and just say, paint a wall, do a mural, do whatever you want. You really got to the heart of this neighborhood. And to me, that is the definition of compassionate Tacoma. So thank you so, so much for being here today. And when that second phase starts to creep in, I want you right back here in my kitchen. Deal?
Deal. We'll be there.